Previously on Chilling.
One would say with all what you've accomplished so far, one would say you're content. Are you contented with what you've achieved so far?
Yes, because at the end of the day, when this life is over, people will never talk about how great my work is. No. The people will talk about my contribution to the world. How did I make a world a better place?
Chilling.
Good evening and a warm welcome to Chilling. My name is Rogo. Now today we decided to come and chill at one of the greatest makeup studios in the entire town. It's called Monafaces. It's found on Crane Plaza, Kisementi. Now everyone loves to look and feel good. Yeah. Now women have been enabled to be gorgeous every time they get in touch with that. You know what I'm talking about, guys. Yeah. MONALISA is a young entrepreneur behind the big brand Monafaces, which has taken over the Kampala and it's taken over Africa, trust me guys. So without no further ado, let me introduce to you the beautiful and incredible MONALISA Umutoni.
Hey,
is that how they pronounce your name?
Umutoni, yeah.
Umutoni?
Because there's a U at the beginning.
Is that Rwandese? If you don't mind asking.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, we shall talk about that later. How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Your scholarly says a different story. I mean, you studied stuff to do with office, administration and stuff like that. How did you end up here?
Well, this is truly passion.
Okay.
I never imagined in a million years that I would end up being a makeup artist. I mean, I didn't think even doing makeup would be something that people would take seriously. It would be a real job. It would, you know, pay the rent. But yeah, somehow,
step by step, you build an empire.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I've told guys that I've been here and I've seen all these. And I also, something compelled me, an award, ASFA's. When was that?
That was last year, 2017.
You're the recipient of that award?
Yes, makeup artist of the year. I was so excited.
So who inspired you, and do you remember your first gig when you're doing makeup? Do you remember your first job, and who inspired you?
Well, the thing with how I started, like I said, it was passion. I was always doing makeup every other time, but for my friends, for free, for fun. Yeah, and then, thank God, social media came through.
Social media,
Instagram, yeah. So I would take pictures and post them on my social media, and then people started looking out for me. They're like, oh, we need your services for this and for that. And before I knew it, I was doing weddings and I had clients coming in. So yeah.
You know, great work always finds a way of speaking for itself.
It does.
Amazing, guys.
Yeah.
So we are going to return shortly and to start the topic of the day with the beautiful MONALISA. We're going to talk about starting small and taking baby steps. I want to find out how she got to garner all this empire. So see you guys shortly in a heartbeat.
See you.
Chilling.
Taking a plunge into entrepreneurship is spontaneously exhilarating, and it's a little bit polarizing and can be so disturbing and daunting at the same time. You know, you have this idea in your head that you're creating for ages and fearing to implement. I want to find out from my guest tonight that she literally started out with a small bag that had a lipstick.
Lipstick, eye pencil.
It had an eye wash. How do you call this?
Yeah.
An eyelid or something.
Yeah, let's see.
It even had a small box of powder, right?
Yeah, just the powder.
How did you? Because
eyeliner.
when you look at the end result now, how did you come up to build this empire? Are there some business steps that you took?
I think the main step that I took is that the minute I started, I didn't stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kept moving. Because business is not easy. There's a lot of discouragement. You could make losses, and if you and then there's also criticism that comes with it. The more you keep going, the more people try to attack you and all that. But that's not what happens all the time. There are good days and there are bad days. As long as you don't stop, you just keep going ahead.
Yeah, it's something to do with women emancipation. When they see a woman doing it really good, some people feel like it's an impossible thing. How has that made you feel, being a woman in that position, I mean, in business?
Well, it's a good and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because you get a lot of support and encouragement, but then sometimes when you're trying to do something, people are like, you shouldn't push so hard, you shouldn't do this. Like, there's let me see, how do I say it? There are expectations that people have of you, and they don't think that you can go further, that you can do it on your own. without having help from some other person. But then there's also a lot of support. Yeah. So it's a good thing.
So it's a brave step that you took.
Yeah.
Before you were working somewhere that we won't be able to mention. I love
We can if you want.
We
yeah.
can.
Yeah.
And this was after you started Senior 6? Was it in vacation?
My vacation, yeah. Before.
So you started up with that small item I mentioned, a small bag with
Yeah,
just a
small
few items.
makeup bag,
And you were
yeah.
bold enough to go and get your boots outside and get a gig.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? I mean, did you even have a visionary of saying maybe this one lipstick will turn into 1 million lipsticks and stuff like that?
I would say I was lucky because I started with friends. You know, I used my friends. I worked on them. They liked it. Some of them I used their products, and I started by investing every little penny I had back into the business. Every little penny I was making then, I would buy a new product, invest more, like build a kit, and then use social media a lot so I would get more jobs. Yeah, so it ended up working out in the end.
Okay, when we return, we're going to talk about pushing the brand and how you can really, because it's the most important thing.
Yes,
how
it
do
is.
you get to market your services and products?
Yes.
So we're going to take a little break and then we return with that just shortly.
Chilling.
So let's talk about you pushing your brand. How did you actually first put your brand outside there, and what was the perception? How did people receive the brand?
Like I've been saying, I used social media a lot.
Yeah.
I used my Instagram, Facebook. I used all of that a lot. When I was just starting out, I just, I already had a small following, very small, like less than 200 followers on Instagram mainly. And then I just took off all my personal stuff and decided to post only about my work. And then I got my logo done, and I paid attention to detail everything that I was putting out there and how it was going to represent me in the end. And I think the consistency has also just, helped my brand to grow. Yeah.
So how much did you start with, like in terms of liquidity, money or something? Did you invest a lot?
Like I said, the business invested in itself. I started with nothing. I had my small bag. Then I got my first gig. That money went back into the makeup, and slowly by slowly I built. Right now I feel like I can't tell you a specific amount because first of all, makeup products are very expensive and they're not even easy to find in town. So most of the stuff you have to send for, and you have to keep on buying stuff. And soon I built I opened a small studio, and then I wanted to expand, and then I expanded. But
so, because when it also comes to products that somebody is supposed to use on clients, it also matters a lot. I mean, you just can't buy any product.
No, you can't.
Man, how? Because I don't understand. How do you even get to afford products like that are premium for clients?
The thing is that you have to, because if you get a client that complains about a skin problem that came from a product that you used that wasn't genuine, it all goes back on your brand. That's how you start by paying attention to the smallest details. Use good products on your clients that won't make them react, and then they'll give you good reviews and then recommend. And it's word of mouth, because Kampala is small, Uganda, it's a small place. So you do a good job here, you get more recommendations. Yeah.
So a lot of, because when you started up, you're like young, literally, you're like young. A lot of kids ask for money from their parents to start up businesses.
Do.
And most of them don't seem to work out. I mean, what is the problem? Do you think they don't have the right state of mind before they ask for that money? What are some preparations? I mean, like if somebody is really to start, like let me say, I want to start a company or small company. How do they even get started?
Well, I feel like before you even think of starting something, you need to ask yourself a question. Do you love it? You have to be 110% passionate about something. If it's going to grow, if it's going to become something big, you need to love it. You need to be passionate about it. It has to be something that if you woke up 5 years ago, like 5 years later, and you're still doing the same thing, you're not going to be bored. You understand what I'm saying? So many people start out businesses that they're not really passionate about. So because they're not passionate about it to start with, they won't invest more time to learn more, to invest they won't invest as much time in it, and then soon enough they'll be bored. They'll feel like it's a routine and it's boring and they don't like it, and then they'll move on to the next. Or it will fail because they're not really putting in as much time into learning about it, and you know, yeah.
So let's talk about patience that you're supposed to put into such a business, because it's a growing business.
Yeah.
Is there any, like, are you meant to put in a lot of patience to wait for the outcomes or the fruits of the labor?
Yeah,
like that?
you have to be, with business, any type of business, I feel like you need to be patient, because you just have to keep in mind that what you're doing is one day going to pay off. And some days are better than the rest, some days are difficult, but there's always, you need to look further. Like, you need to have a vision. You need to look at where you're going and where you want to be and where you think what you're doing is going to take you. Because if you focus on, oh, I had a bad client today, or I got cyberbullied on social media, things like that, you won't stop. Like you'll just get discouraged and then you'll stop. You need to look at where you're going and just keep in mind that whatever it is that you're doing, if you give it enough time, it's going to pay off. So you need to be patient, very patient.
What can a young person look to get inspired to really start up? Because they're starting up small.
Yeah.
What should they look out for? Should they always be going in seminars to study about businesses? Should they maybe look out for successful people to tell them about maybe progress to get motivated or something? Particularly, what inspired you, like, throughout the process? I'm not talking about the entire thing, but what inspired you throughout the process to be like, you know what, this is gonna work out sometime?
Well, one, I think about my own personal story and why I'm doing what I do, you know, where I come from and why I started. That why you started is very important. You need to, like, remember, why am I doing this? Why did I start to do this? Where am I going? So you need to have your vision. You need to know what you want. That's what's going to keep you pushing, you know? Even when you get discouragement, you think about, oh, in 5 years I could be this, or this could go here. So you need to stay, of course, you need to stay motivated. And also you need to keep people around you that are pushing you in that direction. If you have people, like maybe your close friends, or the circle, the people that you keep around you, if they're thinking otherwise, you'll easily get discouraged. But if you keep around people who are like maybe fellow entrepreneurs, it's easy to stay on track.
Did you keep around
such
encouragement?
Yeah. For me, my business to grow to even where it is, I've lost friends, but then I've also gained new friends. I can't tell you that my circles have been the same from day one until now. No. Some people have stayed in my life, but I realize now that my circle is full of entrepreneurs, people who are ambitious, people who are doing their own thing, who have their own thing going for them. So when I see them pushing and succeeding at things and starting out things and, you know, becoming great, that inspires me. And I'm like, I can't sit, I can't relax, I can't get comfortable. So you need to keep people, your circle is very important. Yeah.
Because now you know that there is an influx of
Yeah.
a lot of makeup artists coming flowing into this industry.
Yes.
We shall talk about that next week on the second part, more about those details. But do you really think this job is lucrative? Oh, is it lucrative? Can you really get enough money from?
Yeah, of course you can. You can. You can.
Okay, I'm listening, and I'm wondering how does that happen? Because you talked about products being expensive on the market, and then it's more like, because me, I think this kind of job is a little bit seasonal. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It is.
There is some certain time when, a certain window period when job is not actually available.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, like, how do you keep your head up? And is it really, do you get, like, if you're to get a profit, how are you even going to invest it?
Wow. The thing is that, let me see, I have, like, I need to, okay, the thing is that I am an artist, mostly, yeah? I'm more of an artist than a business person. So I usually have people who help me look at it from the business perspective. Mona, you're making losses, or you need to, I get a lot of advice from other people who are older, who are more experienced, yeah. And then I try to, like, you know, pay attention to how I'm spending and how I'm investing, and I'm training more people. And of course, if there are more people joining the business, that means there's some money being made, but also you need to save and be wise about how you spend and everything.
Let us look at the investment part a little bit. What are the some of the few items, apart from products, that you're supposed to have if you're to venture into this kind of business? Like, for example, you can say a car. A car is a car so relevant in this business? Reaching you to clients?
Well, you need to get from one place to the other. That makeup is a skill. You need to perfect the skill first before you even think of getting a client. If your work is not good, if you can't, you know, paint a face to perfection, you won't be able to get work. You won't get jobs. So you will have all the products. You'll invest all this money into doing a studio, having products, what? But if your work has to speak for itself, you need to develop the skill first. It's an art.
It's good you
Yeah.
brought it up. What did you say? You're a self-taught makeup artist.
I am.
How is it different from somebody that has gone to school?
Okay. The only difference is that I was passionate enough about it to teach myself. You understand? Someone that has gone to school loves it as well. They are also passionate about it, but it's harder like anything else. If you have to research on your own, teach yourself, that means you learn from your mistakes. So you make so many mistakes and you learn from them and you keep pushing, you don't stop. It's a lot of work.
So you did this by watching YouTube videos?
Yeah, I started, because I have always been passionate about makeup. I love doing makeup for my friends and people. And then I just always had this thing in me of, like, each time I would look at my work, I would always be like, this should be better. I can do better than this. There's more. Because I would follow a lot of other makeup artists everywhere on social media, YouTube, what, and I'd be like, how do they create this? I want to know how to do this. I want to perfect. I've always been so obsessed with perfecting my skill. So that's what pushed me to YouTube and learning and doing
And
more
you're doing great
practice.
at reciprocating. I've seen you also put out some YouTube videos, tutorial YouTube
Yes,
videos. And
yes. Now
thanks.
I'm getting into YouTube.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. So,
You're welcome.
is there any advice that you would want to give any young person that wants to start up something? It could not even be makeup. It could be some other sort of business, but they're almost our age. Because you know how very, very expensive people can throw money around. Around our age, you know what happens outside there. They can't really invest money in the right places. So is there any advice that you want to give? It could not be an expert's advice about business.
Well, my advice,
Yeah.
based on my experience, first would be that person, if you want to start something, you need to know. You need to be true to yourself and ask yourself, am I really passionate about this? Am I willing to like leave everything else and go for this 110%? You need to be passionate about something, anything that you're doing.
You've often talked about passion.
Yeah, that's the first thing. And to me, it's the most important thing. If you don't love something, soon enough you're going to get you can easily get discouraged. But if you love something and you're about it, like however much you get discouraged, even if people bully you, like I talk about, like, because these days it's all about social media. People use Instagram, Facebook and all that a lot to market their businesses. So you're not always going to get positive feedback from people, but are you willing to take that in and still move forward regardless? To me, that's what's important for anyone starting out in business.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You see, guys, I told you she's a smart brain. Let's talk about school. You, as I mentioned before on the show, that you studied something else. School is now so much contradicting with what people go outside and face in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like discouraging school or kids from going back to school, but should they really divert some of their attention onto something like, could be poetry or could be something, they go maybe start up something in the villages and, you know, start up something that is lucrative, that can bring even the slightest money, or they could even make products, you know, these sort of products that are used like liquid soap and stuff like that. Would you advise somebody to do that?
I definitely 110%. I mean, look at me. What did I study? I said something completely different. The thing is that, I don't know, it's maybe our education system and all that. They tell you have to do this like that, you must follow this, you know, said. But there's so much that can be done out there. And we don't all like we don't have the same journeys in life. Like your path is not going to be my path. So that's why people need to find what they like. They need to be true to themselves and be like, okay, I want to do this. I love this. I'm passionate about this. Let me go for this. It doesn't have to be what your friends are doing or what, you know, they've taught you in school. Some can succeed at being a lawyer or a doctor or something like that, but that doesn't mean all of us are cut out to do the same thing. Yeah, like I could be a makeup artist, you could be a farmer, you can succeed in anything you put your mind to.
Because
I don't know
a lot of parents, Monalisa, a lot of parents, our parents, normally think that white collar jobs is the only way you can get paid.
Yes.
If you're not a lawyer, then be a doctor.
Yes.
But they don't actually get to understand that when it comes to career, it's actually more important because now everything is passion driven.
Yeah.
And if you keep on doing whatever you're loving, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
So we are going to take a break and we shall return with the last part. I hope you guys are watching. Thank you very much.
Chilling.
Before we get her advice, I would tell you guys that if you want to look at starting a business, don't be afraid. Tackle it. Tackle it with all you can. And God will help you throughout the entire process. So, what is your greatest business lesson? What is the greatest lesson you've learned from this particular business? The greatest one that you can never ever forget?
I feel like I have learned a lot. Patience is key, first of all.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that's key is consistency.
Wow.
Yeah. You have, if you're consistent with something, it will stay and it will grow. If you give time to something, it will grow. And what I've really learned a lot is that you get what you give out.
Yeah.
Like, you get what you give all the time. You reap what you sow. If you put a lot of time into something, eventually it's going to pay off, regardless. Like, no matter what it is. Yeah. So that's it for me. Patience, being consistent, and also, you know, giving out my best work. You know, because I know in the back of my mind that you reap what you sow. Yeah.
When you talk about consistency, I totally understand. Because there's some that encounter certain challenge and they be like, this is it, guys.
Yeah, if you stop, then...
And especially when it comes to you women, you're so tender.
Also, another thing I have learned is to let go of fear. You know, because fear cripples you when you're trying to start something new or something different. There's so much fear that comes with it, and you're always scared, oh my God, I'm going to fail, and then what if I fail? How people look at me, or what, all those questions that build up in your mind. But then you never fail, you only learn. A friend of mine told me that one time I was planning a masterclass and I was so scared. I'm like, oh my God, everything has to be perfect. I don't know, am I going to make it? What if I fail? And she's like, Mona, you never fail, you only learn. So that's one of the many lessons.
Listen, I don't know why you're stuck here. I think you should have been in the office doing something because you have such a sharp brain. And I like it.
Thank you.
I hope you're not offended, but I like it.
No, thanks.
You're also perfect at doing this job. So
Yeah.
is there any last thing that you want to say about starting small, taking baby steps into business before we wrap it up completely?
Let me see. Starting small and taking baby steps. You need to have God. You need to pray.
And
I
look
feel
at
like
us. We
that's
didn't even mention
one.
that from the start.
Yeah, that like God has been like a major, I don't even know how to say it.
Played a major
role, force in my business, in my, like, even in me growing. Because there are points where I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know if I can go, if I can continue. And then just God makes a way. You know, you talk to Him and you're like, okay, it's going to pay off one day. Yeah, you just need to pray. And then you need to stay consistent. Don't give up on what you're doing. You'll face discouragement. People will tell you, that's not worth it. Or how can you, like, when I was starting out, because there were no makeup studios then. There were no all these brands have just come in, shops and all that. There were no makeup artists to look at. For me, I had no major makeup artists to look at and be like, okay, I can be like this person. If I work hard, I can go to this level. It wasn't there in this country. So
you said the best.
Well, I'm lucky, maybe it worked in my favor, but then not having someone to look at can also be very scary. And then, because people don't see, you see, people can never see your vision. what you have in mind, not everyone else can have that. So if you stay listening to what people are telling you to do, sometimes you might be discouraged. Like in my terms, like makeup, like I said, there were no people to look at, so people would not like relate if you tell them, oh, I want to do a studio, and they're like, are you crazy? You think you can pay the rent? Or I want to do a masterclass. Are you sure? People will show up, things like that. So there's a lot of discouragement that would come your way, but you just need to be clear. Like in your mind, you need to know where you're going and what your vision is and what you want to achieve, and just go for it. And yeah, don't give up, don't stop.
Okay, you guys have listened to the patriarch herself. Now on the second part, we end the first part from here. On the second part, we're going to talk about stuff that I don't know completely. Stuff to do with foundation, stuff to do with panel beating, stuff to do with what is this, mascara, stuff that I don't even know, but she is the expert, so I'm going to get and teach you guys a lot. So boys, get away, girls, come in. See you next time,
Boys
guys.
can stay too. There's some more interested in makeup.
And we shall discuss about that. Why
Yeah.
don't you have boys paintings around, like photos?
No.
You see?
Yeah.
You don't, do you even take much credit in doing your artistry?
No, the
on
thing is
boys,
that it's
on
not
men?
like a bad thing. Like I wouldn't want. It's not like I wouldn't want to have boys, but there are not so many men out there or boys who are willing to just, you know, let you do their makeup and then post it everywhere. And most of them, they have to do it because it's work. Now, like you would, the only times you'd be forced to wear makeup is
when
if,
I'm on screen.
yeah, but you would not be randomly open to me just doing your makeup, and then it's not a common thing here. But boys do. Some
But
who like it,
some
they do
that
wear
have had
makeup.
put
Yeah.
on makeup day.
Yes, yes.
It's
Yeah, they do. But then would they be open enough to say, oh, let's do a shoot and put me up in your studio?
you know
That
what,
would be
guys?
rare.
It's the 21st century. You can
Yeah.
do whatever you want.
Yes.
If you have one bag of makeup, say buy another one. It's okay, guys. So see you next week, same time. Don't go anywhere. This has been Chilling. Thank you very much.
Next week on Chilling.
What is your first instant reaction?
I don't react anymore.
Anymore?
Because
So that means you're frustrated already.
no, I don't react because I do makeup. Yes, it's my profession. But if I go out and I see someone and their makeup is not perfect, I mean, it's not. That's on them.
Really,
It's
it
not
doesn't
my
challenge
thing.
you because it's sort of now leaning towards your feeling.
Yeah, but maybe it would bother me if I did the makeup, or if someone from my studio did the makeup. That's when I would be like, oh shoot, they didn't do the right thing.
Chilling.
Hi chillers, as you're enjoying this episode, make it an effort to follow our social media outlets. All you've got to do is type in Chilling UBC TV, like us on our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and then also subscribe onto our YouTube channel.